Hi everyone, my name is Calvin Cherry and I have written a prequel to Bram Stoker's classic Dracula titled Stoker, Evolution of a Vampire. So for this video blog, I'm going to transition into a new subject, which is basically the historical locations that I refer to in my novel. And I'm going to start with the city of Sighisoara. So Sighisoara is a city in today's Romania located in the historic region of Transylvania. And it's right near the Trnava River. So Sighisoara was founded by the order of the Hungarian government in the 12th century by German merchants and what was considered Wallachian Saxons during the time. So in Vlad III's Dracula days, Romania was Wallachia. So the city is interesting in the fact that it's a hexagon shape and it's walled in very much like a fort. In fact, the word Sighisoara in Hungarian means fort, so that makes sense. And it's recognized today as being the most well-preserved and inhabited citadel in Europe. A Dracula park was considered to be built there during the early 2000s, and it was actually rejected by the government because they want to keep that well-preserved citadel medieval-like presence. And it's become quite a tourist destination because of that. So the city itself is considered two parts. The first part is on top of a hill, then the lower part is considered the valley. So the hill is interesting in that it's full of churches and Gothic graveyards. So there is a church on the very top of the hill, and in order to get there you have to go through a covered it's almost like a covered bridge, but it's actually not a bridge. It's steps, very steep steps going up from the valley all the way up to the very top of the hill to the church. It's very interesting in that it is so well preserved and so Gothic. The graveyard itself is very much something like you would think to be in Michael Jackson's Thriller video. And back in November, I actually took a tour of the city. And if you go down into my from my author page, if you go back to the November time frame, you would be able to see my vlogs from that time period in pictures. But the valley itself is very much homes and this Citadel Square, and which also has the historic clock tower. So that's definitely, if you go there, check out the clock tower because it's very, very cool. So the city is known for its towers, its churches, the architecture, its art, museums, and its jewelry as well. So let's get to the main gist of this conversation, the fact that it also contains the home of Vlad Dracula's house, which Vlad III's father lived in from 1431 to 1435. So the house itself is the oldest structure in the city, and it was made from yellow river stone from the river, the Tamara. What's interesting is that the house across the street from Vlad III's birthplace, Vlad III's family, his father and wife, actually lived in that house for a while, which was owned by the mayor of the city. But eventually they moved into the house, the yellow house, which is referred to as the birthplace of Vlad III. So the house, the structure itself is 3 floors. So back in Dracula's day, The lower floor, it was an area. There's an arch to it, and that's where the horses would reside. There's the lower room of the house, which is actually today's a museum of weapons. That is actually where the horses or the stable would have resided. The main level of the house would have been the living quarters, and the upper portion of the house is the bedrooms, which is the first bedroom is considered the birthplace of Vlad III. So Vlad III, or Vlad Tepes, was born in 1431, like I said, in a room on the third floor. What is interesting, on the main floor of the home, which today is actually a restaurant, when you go up the steps, the very first area, which is like a formal dining area, there is actually, if you turn to the left and look up, there is a mural that was uncovered in the 1970s, and that it contains the only photo that is known of Vlad Dracula's father, Vlad II. So if you go there, be sure to check it out. And again, I'm going to post in this video blog not only a photo of the house itself, but also that photo of Vlad III's father. And I mentioned the house across the street. So the city is also known for its medieval festivals and reenactments. So I think around the Easter time frame, they do a medieval reenactment. But when I was there in November of 2019, they actually did a reenactment of a witch trial, which is very interesting. And it started in the main square, and then they took it to a building to the left of the clock tower, which is actually a very neat art museum, and they took it down to the lower level and actually had like a courtroom with a presiding judge, and everyone watching the mock trial was able to participate in the trial and vote yay or nay as far as what to do with the known or the suspected witch. So in my book, several chapters actually take place in the city of Sighisoara. And so in my book, Bram Stoker's fictional visit to the house kind of parallels with Jonathan Harker's visit to Castle Dracula. So I don't want to give too much detail, but if you think about how Jonathan Harker was kind of prisoner in Dracula's castle, in my novel, Bram Stoker is very similarly a prisoner to Vlad III's residence, again, his birthplace. So I hope you found this video blog interesting, and in the weeks ahead I'll be posting similar blogs where I actually go through the different historical locations in my novel and kind of explain the historical significance and compare it to how it goes with my storyline in my novel. So again, if you think that my novel would be something you would be interested in, it's available at all online book retail stores. And if you go to a brick and mortar store and they don't have it on the shelf, they will certainly order it for you. And if you would like a signed copy of my novel, just private message me and I'll be more than glad to hook you up. So again, thank you very much for your time, and I'll see you next week. Goodbye.